Oh, here's the hero deck profile. Let's start with the main deck. So I've separated it using these so it's easier for me. As always, we start with the monsters. I'll just move these out of the way. As always with the typical hero deck, since the hero strike release, we run 3 Shadow Mist. Yeah, basically our main center of the deck. You can special summon him, and so when he's special summoned, you add a mask change from your deck to your hand, and if he was not special summoned the turn he's sent to the graveyard, you can search out for another hero monster, but you can also use each of his effects only once per turn. Next hero monster I run is Arius. I run 2 because I don't think 1 is enough, and I think 3 is too cloggy. He's basically Neos, and I didn't want to have to run real Neos, because if I did, I would have to tribute 2 monsters, and I don't want to do that. So Neos Alias, Gemini monster. His effect is basically while he's face up on the field and in the graveyard, he counts as Neos. He counts as elemental hero Neos. Pretty simple. Next I run 2 Goleman. Basically he's summon.
Oops. 2 Goldberg.
There you go, you guys, sorry. 2 Goldenberg, basically, I null summon him, uses effect, he changes to defense mode, and I special summon a level 4 or lower monster from my hand. So Shadow Mist, you use Shadow Mist effect, searching out mask change, and using mask change to go for Dark Wall. Yeah, pretty simple. I'll just move him over there. And then 2 Southern Monks. Southern Monk, it basically, sorry, mental blank. Southern Monk, I'll just move into the spell and trap zone. Southern Monk's effect, change him to defense mode, discarding a spell card, special summon level 4 monster for my, as always.
Yeah, you can banish, or you can attack twice. It's your choice with him.
Now for the spell cards. Sorry guys, I dropped one. Much in there for a sec. As always, in a Master Hero deck, you need to run 3 Master Change. And yeah, 3 Master Change, pretty simple. Lets you go into your Master Heroes. And I also run 2 Master Charge. 2 Master Charge. Master Charge lets me get back at Master Change and a hero monster. By the way, I forgot to say this before. But I am going to run Master Change the second in this deck. I don't know what I'm going to take out, but I gave my Master Change the second to a friend, and yeah, because I didn't think I needed it. Almost got rid of these, and there's still 5 more hero cards to go. 3 Miracle Fusion, but basically lets you go for the big attack point hero monsters. So it's just late here, and it's also cold.
Absolutely frozen cold. Lastly, I run
2 a hero lives. I'll just take these away for now. Hero lives. I pay half my life points. I special summon a hero monster, a level 4 or lower hero monster, while I control no monsters, and gets me out of a jam. Of course, you special summon Shadow Mist, use Shadow Mist effect. Search out Master Change, use Master Change, go for Dark Law. Pretty simple, you guys. Yep. And also, to go.
Goes to defense. Discard a hero lives from hand. Special a Shadow Mist, use Mist effect. Search out Master Change, use Master Change, go for Dark Law. They're pretty simple. Next up for the spells is a 3-rotor. I run 3-rotor because I don't run all, because I think I can even search if I need to. Yeah, it lets me search out Almost all the monsters in my deck, so those 3 are Summoner and 1 BOS that I cannot search out. Is 1 Summoner Monk is not a warrior, and 2 BOS is too high a level. I think he's level 8, not counter now. Yeah. Oops. Sorry guys.
next on 3 upstarts. Basically gets the deck down to 37 cards, and so what if your opponent gains 1,000, you can still deal plus more with it. It's almost full these days. I've got the Ultra at locals, so I don't know
what the hell I traded for it, but I just know that I've got it now. And yay. Next for
Next to Tobacco, I run to our Righteous Justice. Basically, I don't run MST. I had MST, but I said to myself, since no one really sets anything these days, I'll just get rid of MST and for our Righteous Justice, because if they do set things, I can get rid of multiple at once. Pretty simple. And also Dark Hole is going to be Regeki, but I don't have Regeki at the moment. I know it's been printed, but I have not had a chance to buy off a Return of the yet. Yeah. And as I said before, I did run to...
These are the two cards I swapped MST out for. One Prohibition, sorry, two Prohibitions. Prohibitions affect, excuse me if I stuff up, because I'm going to be reading it upside down. When you activate this card, declare one name, declare one card name, sorry. Cards with that name cannot be activated, their effects cannot be activated, used, sorry. Cards on the field before this card was activated are not affected, including face down cards. Basically, for Necros I would say Trishula. I'm just using Necros as an example, and they cannot summon Trishula or use Trishula's effect. And no one expects Prohibition. That's just it. My last spell card, I run one Soul Absorption. Soul Absorption, I have not seen it since it got printed in the next challenges, or whatever their set name is. I mental blank right now. So the new forces, I read this bit right here. If this card, sorry, its effect goes, if a card or cards is banished, I gain 500 life points for each. And before the April 1st ban list, I did run Snatch Steal, but unfortunately he got banned again, and I swapped it out for Soul Absorption because I pulled Soul Absorption and I thought that it would be a good card. I'll just put Snatch Steal back there, and yeah, that's it for the spells. Now for the traps. Oops, I put them upside down again. So wrong way around again. Here we go. Two traps done. Basically, if my opponent does activate traps, like for example Mirror Force, I can trap stun them. So my attack still goes through if they activate Mirror Force, and my monsters don't get destroyed. I'll just put them there. Next, one Vanities, because I did want to run two, but then the April 1st ban list came out, and my replacement Vanities is a Starlight Road. Basically, Starlight Road's effect, if you didn't know, when a card or effect is activated, that destroys two or more cards you control that negate the activation, and if you do destroy that card, then you can, keyword there, can special summon one Stardust Dragon from your extra deck. It's actually a pretty good card. And next two are just plain old staples, Compulse and Bottomless. Really, I think you know what they do, they're staples. Well, that's it for the main deck. Let's go to the extra deck right about now. To start off the extra deck,
with the Master Hero monsters, I run 2 Dark Law. Basically, I'll explain to you how you get these Hero monsters out. For Dark Law, I use Shadow Mist and Mask Change. Since they're both dark, sorry. I use Mask Change on Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist goes to the grave and Dark Law comes to the field. And Dark Law's effect is any of my opponent's cards sent to the graveyard are banished instead, and also when my opponent adds cards from the deck to your hand, except by drawing, I can banish 1 random card in their hand. Yep, pretty good card, I'll say myself. Next I run 2 Master Hero Kogas. Koga I get out by Neos, and Koga's effect, Neos and Mask Change. Koga's effect basically states he gains 500 for each monster my opponent controls, and once per turn during the player's turn, I can banish 1 hero monster from my graveyard, and then target 1 monster my opponent controls, and basically they lose the attack points. They lose equal attack points to the attack points of the elemental hero monster I banished. Yeah, sorry you guys. It's just today. Pretty simple. Last hero monster I run is Diane. I'm getting Acid and Ankai. I just have not received them yet. Yeah. Basically, Diane. If I had Mask Change the second, which I don't at the moment, I would use Goblinberg and Mask Change the second for Diane. But since I don't, the only way to summon him right now is if I summon the Gaia, then Mask Change the Gaia into Diane. Yeah.
Basically, Construst Hero Chaos can get me out of a jam. It requires 2 Master Hero monsters. So with Miracle Fusion, I would banish, say, these 2. Then special Construst Hero Chaos. Use Chaos's effect. He's also a light monster, which I can Honest him. I run Honest in my side deck. And during the player's turn, I can target 1 card on the field, negate its effect until the end of the turn. Yeah, Construst Hero Chaos, everyone. Yeah. Next for the E-Hero fusions, I'll just take Mask Change away. The Shining, Escurito, Gaia and Ab-Zero. I shall explain to you their costs, but before I explain to you their actual effects,
elemental hero, the Gaia. So the Shining requires 1 elemental hero monster and 1 light monster to be summoned. And basically he gains 300 attack points for each banished elemental hero monster I control. For each banished elemental hero monster. And when he's sent from the field to the graveyard, I can target up to 2 E-hero monsters from my graveyard and add them to my hand. Yep. And for Escudo, he requires 1 elemental hero monster and 1 dark monster. His effect states that he gains 100 for each elemental hero monster in my graveyard. The Gaia has a quite longer effect. He requires 1 elemental hero. Sorry guys, 1 elemental hero monster and 1 earth monster. His effect basically states when this card is summoned, I can target 1 card my opponent controls, have its attack, and then
When I lose the field, I can destroy all monsters my opponent controls, and there's actually a pretty good thing with acid and Ab. So I summon Ab. I change on Ab, bring out Ragnar Zero's effect is it needs 2 level 4 monsters, and during the player's turn, once per turn during the player's turn, I can detach 1 exceeds material, then target 1 face-up attack position monster whose attack is different than its original attack, destroy it, and if I do, I draw 1 card. Abyss Dweller's effect is he requires 2 level 4 monsters to be summoned. While this card has exceeds materials that were originally water, he gains 500 for each. Once per turn, during the player's turn, I can detach 1 exceeds material. Any card effect that is activated. Any card effect that activates in my opponent's graveyard is not activated this turn. And Excalibur, he requires 2 level 4 warrior type monsters. His effect is 1 per turn. I can detach 2 exceeds materials from this card, and he doubles his attack. So basically, he becomes 4,000.
yeah. Well, thanks for watching. I gotta go.